I want to welcome you to the Rockdale County CDL School Bus Pre-Trip Inspection Training. Now we will get started. I'm looking at my door. It opens and moves freely. The metal around my door is not bent, dent, or twisted. It's secured to the bus. I'm looking at my gaskets and seals. They're properly mounted. There's no cuts, no frays, abrasion, or dry rot. It's secured to the bus. I'm looking at all my glass. It's clean. It's not cracked, broke, or missing. It's secured to the bus. I'm looking at my hinges. My nuts and bolts are present. None is coming loose. It's not bent, dent, or twisted. It's secured to the bus. And there is nothing obstructing the movement of my door. I'm looking at my stairwell. It's evenly worn. Nothing coming up, nothing missing. It's not bent, dent, or twisted, and it is secured to the bus. I'm looking at my stairwell light. The proper color is white. It's not cracked, broke, or missing. The metal around it is not bent, dent, or twisted, and it is secured to the bus. I'm looking at my handrails. It's properly mounted. It's not bent, dent, or twisted. It's secured to the bus. I'm looking at my my fire extinguisher. It's properly mounted. It's in the green, fully charged, and ready for use. I'm looking at my emergency roadside kit. It's properly mounted with 3 reflective triangles and 6 spare fuses. Come up the steps. I'm looking at my first aid and body fluid kit. It's properly mounted, fully stocked, and ready for use. I'm looking at my student monitoring system throughout the bus. It's properly mounted, it's clean, nothing is cracked, broke, or missing, and it is secured to the bus, and we cannot view the footage from inside of the bus. I'm looking at my seat belt. It's properly mounted. There's no cuts or frays, and it latches and adjusts just for me. I'm looking at all of my mirrors, my outside mirrors, my inside student mirrors. They're clean, they're not cracked, broken, or missing. All the metal around my mirrors is not bent, dent, or twisted, and it is secured to the bus. Now I'll be performing my safe start. As I start my bus, I'm going to make sure my foot is on my service brake, make sure my bus is in neutral, and make sure my parking brake is applied. I'm going to start my bus. My ABS light came on and off. It's working properly. My DEF fuel level is on and working properly. My high beams and low beams is on, working properly. My left turn signal is working properly. My right turn signal is working properly. My hazard lights are working properly. All of my light indicators are working properly. Now I will check my heaters, my passenger heaters, and my driver's heaters. All my heaters is blowing. They are working properly, and we have good airflow throughout the bus. Everything is working properly. My windshield is clean. It's not cracked, broken, or missing. It's secured to the bus, and there is no illegal stickers obstructing my view. My windshield wipers, as I turn them on, is working properly. The metal around it is not bent, dent, or twisted. It's secured to the bus. The rubber, there's no cuts, nor frays, abrasions, or dry rot. It is secured to the bus. The windshield wiper fluid, as I push, is working properly, and it makes good contact with the windshield. Now I'll be performing my air brake test. At governor cutout, between 120 and 150 PSI, I'm going to turn off my bus. I'm going to turn it back on to the on position, but not start it. I'm going to mash in my service brakes. I'm going to release my parking brakes. I'm going to ask my tester, could you please time me for 1 minute?
Regular Ed, Conyers, do we have any buses?
1 minute is up. I did not lose more than 3 PSI in that 1 minute. I'm going to begin fanning my brakes to 60 PSI. My brake light and warning buzzer should come on. It just came on. I'm going to keep fanning my brakes to 40 PSI and my emergency brake pops out. I'm going to start my bus and I'm going to blow my horn. Air brakes is working properly. While my pressure is building back up, I'm going to do a seat check and emergency exit check. As I go down, I'm going to make sure I check the bottom, top part of the seat. Make sure nothing is coming up and nothing is loose. Go all the way down, making sure my seats is properly mounted. All of my seats is properly mounted. Nothing is coming loose. All nuts and bolts are present, and all the metals on my seats is not bent, dent, or twisted, and it is secured to the bus. Now I'm going to do my emergency exits. We have 7 emergency exits in this bus. We have 1 door, 4 windows, 2 in the back, 2 in the front, and we have 2 emergency hatches. Now I will check my emergency door to make sure my buzzer is working properly. As you can hear, buzzer is working properly. Door opens and moves freely. Now I'm going to check my emergency hatch. If there was a real emergency, I would turn my latch to exit and push out the whole hatch. But since it's just testing, I'm going to look for my strobe light. My strobe light is working properly. It's proper color white. It's not cracked, broke, or missing. The metal around my strobe light is not bent, dent, or twisted, and it is secured to the bus. Now I'll be performing my service brake test, and that was the governor cutout. Now my service brake test. I will not be demonstrating it, I will just be explaining it. At governor cutout, I will mash in my service brakes. I will release my parking brake, put my bus in drive, and pull forward no more than 5 miles per hour. When I stop, my bus should not sway to the left or the right, it should just stop. That concludes my service brake test. Now I'll be performing my parking brake test. At governor cutout, I'm going to mash in my service brakes. I'm going to make sure my parking brake is applied. I'm going to put my bus in drive. I'm going to mash the gas 3 times. My bus should not move. 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. My bus did not move. My parking brake is working properly. Put my bus back in neutral. That concludes the air brake, service brake, and parking brake tests. Now I will be doing an external light test. I'm going to ask my tester if she can go out front to help me check my external lights. What I want her to look for is I'm going to check my clearance lights, I'm going to check my headlights, which is my low beams and high beams. I'm going to check my left turn signal, my right turn signal, my hazard lights, my amber lights, my 8 ways, including my stop sign and my swing arm. So she will meet you out front. Now I will close my doors and do my external light test. I'm going to point up to indicate my clearance light is working properly. My low beams is already on, working properly. My high beams is on, working properly. My left turn signal is on, it's working properly. My right turn signal is on and working properly. My hazardous lights is on and working properly. My amber lights is on and working properly. My 8 ways is on and working properly. My stop sign is out and working properly. And my crossing arm is out working properly. That concludes the front part of my external light test. Once the tester get back to the side of your bus, you're going to ask the tester, could you please help me check the side of my bus? What I'm going to be checking is my clearance lights, my right turn signal, my hazard lights, and my stairwell lights. I'm going to close the door, and I'm going to point up for my clearance lights. They're working properly. My right turn signal is working properly. My hazard lights is working properly. And when I open my door, my stairwell light is working properly. The side of my bus is working properly. Now I'll be performing the rear of my bus. Tester, could you please help me check the rear of my bus? What I'm going to look for is, I'm going to check my clearance lights. I'm going to check my right and left turn signal. I'm going to check my hazard lights, my amber lights, my 8 ways, including my stop sign and my brake lights. Here we go. Clearance lights is working properly. Left turn signal is working properly. Right turn signal is working properly. Hazard lights are working properly. Amber lights is working properly. My 8 ways are working properly, along with my stop sign, and I'm going to push in my brakes, and everything is working properly. That concludes my external light test around my bus. Now when the tester get back to the side of the bus, you're going to ask her, could you please wait out front while I turn off my bus and make sure my emergency buzzer is turned off. So I will close my door and turn off my bus. And my headlights. And I will go down and make sure my buzzer is turned off. Make sure you walk all the way down and make sure you turn off your buzzer. Buzzer is turned off. Now I'll be doing the front of my bus and under the hood. Come out the bus, make sure you unhook your latches so they will already be unhooked for when you do under the hood. Now what I'm looking at is the front of my bus. All of my light lenses are properly mounted. It's the proper color. There is nothing cracked, broke, or missing. It's secured to the bus. Then I'm going to check my mirrors. I'm looking at my right side mirror, my right crossover mirror, my left crossover mirror, and my left side mirror. All of my mirrors are clean. There's no cracks. It's not broken or missing. It's secured to the bus. All the metals around my mirrors is not bent, dent, or twisted, and it is secured to the bus. From there, I will move to my stop sign. I'm looking at my stop sign. It opens and moves freely. The proper color is red. It's not cracked, broke, or missing, secured to the bus. I'm looking at my billow. It's properly mounted. It's no cuts, no frays, abrasions, or dry rot, or leaking. It's secured to the bus. The metal around my stop sign is not dent, bent, or twisted, and it is secured to the bus. Also, I'm looking at my battery box. It opens and moves freely. It's nothing bent, dent, or twisted. It's secured to the bus. I'm looking at my battery cables. They are properly mounted. No cuts, no frays, abrasions, or dry rot. No excessive erosions. Nothing is bent, dent, or twisted, and everything is secured to the bus. I'm looking at my crossing arm. It opens and moves freely. There's nothing bent, dent, or twisted, and it is secured to the bus. Now I would be doing it under the hood. I'm looking at my power steering reservoir, my coolant reservoir. They're properly capped, they're tight. They're filled to the right levels between max and minimum. There's no cuts or leaks. It's secured to the bus. I'm looking at my air lines and hoses. It's properly mounted. No cuts, no frays, dry rot, abrasions. It's secured to the bus and no leakage. I'm looking and listening for air leakage, and I have none. I'm looking at my power oil dipstick. It's properly mounted. It's not bent, dent, or twisted, secured to the bus. If I need to check it, I will pull it out, wipe it clean, reinsert it, bring it back out, make sure it's filled to the right oil levels. I'm looking at my power steering system, my power steering rod connected to my power steering box. All my nuts and bolts and cotter pins are present. None is missing. It's not bent, dent, or twisted. It's secured to the bus. I'm looking at my leaf spring. It's properly mounted, properly stacked. Nothing bent, dent, or twisted, secured to the bus. I'm looking at my front spring mount, my rear spring mount. They're properly mounted. It's not bent, dent, or twisted, and it is secured to the bus. I'm looking under the bus, making sure there's no puddles or that indicates I have a leak. I'm looking at my shock absorbers. It's properly mounted. It's not bent, dent, or twisted. No leaks. It's secured to the bus. I'm looking at my brake line and chamber. It's properly mounted. The line has no cuts, no frays, no abrasions or dry rot or leaks. The metal is not bent, dent, or twisted, and it is secured to the bus. I'm looking at my brake contaminants. That's protecting my drums from any dirt, oil, or grease contamination. That concludes under the hood. I'm looking at my tire. It's evenly worn with 432 in tire depth. There's no cuts, no frays, abrasions, or dry rot or bulges upon my tire. Where the tire meets the rim, there's no rust that indicate the rim is loose. I'm looking at my rim. There's no illegal welds. It's nothing bent, dent, or twisted. It's secured to the bus. I'm looking at all of my lug nuts. They are properly capped. They're tight. There's no shine or rust that indicate one may be loose. I'm looking at my valve stem and cap. It's properly mounted. Nothing is bent, dent, or twisted. No leakage. If I need to check for air pressure, I will use a tire pressure gauge, and it's also used for inflating and deflating of the tire. That concludes under the hood and the tire part. Now I will do the side of my bus. I'm looking at my right side mirror. Again, they're clean. It's not cracked, broke, or missing. It's secured to the bus. All the metal around my mirrors is not bent, dent, or twisted. It's secured to the bus. I'm looking at my DEF fuel door. It opens and moves properly. It's not bent, dent, or twisted. It's secured to the bus. My cap is tight, and there is no leaks under the bus. I'm looking at all my light lenses and reflectors. They're properly mounted, proper color. It's nothing cracked, broke, or missing. It is secured to the bus. I'm looking at all my reflector tapes. It's properly mounted, proper color, nothing peeling or missing, and it is secured to the bus. Okay, I'm looking at my fuel door. It opens and moves freely. Nothing is bent, dent, or twisted. It's secured to the bus. My cap is properly capped and tight. And also, there is no leakage under my bus. I'm looking at my gas tank and cage. It's properly mounted. There's no cuts or leaks or dripping on the ground. The cage, there is nothing bent, dent, or twisted, and it is secured to the bus. I'm looking at my frame that goes from the rear to the front and cross members. There is no illegal welds. It's nothing bent, dent, or twisted, and it is secured to the bus. I'm looking at my floor. There's no holes, no rust or leaks. Nothing is bent, dent, or twisted, and it is secured to the bus. Now I will do the rear of my bus. Okay, I'm looking at all my light lenses and reflectors. They're properly mounted, proper color. There is nothing cracked, broke, or missing, and it is secured to the bus. I'm looking at all my reflector tapes. They're properly mounted, proper color. Nothing is peeling or missing, and everything is secured to the bus. That concludes the pre-trip training of the entire bus. Now I will do the railroad crossing. Now I would be doing the railroad crossing. Always make sure you put your seatbelt on every time you get in the seat. So as I leave out of the maneuvers, what I want you to say is, because you'll be doing your railroad crossing over here. When you turn this corner, always say, it does not matter how many lanes I'm in, I'm going to always be in the far right-hand lane. So there's a cone over here. And that's when you're gonna do your at 200 feet. At 200 feet, I'm gonna turn on my hazard lights. I'm gonna kill my noise, and I'm gonna open my windows at 200 feet. When I see my stop of 1 bus lift plus 15 feet, I'm gonna stop my bus. I'm going to open my doors. I'm gonna rock and roll. I'm looking and listening for traffic and train. When I see my outage of 1 bus length plus 15 feet, I'm gonna close my doors. I'm gonna proceed across the track no more than 15 miles per hour. I'm constantly looking for traffic and train. Once I cross the tracks of 1 bus length plus 15 feet, I'm gonna turn off my hazard lights. I'm gonna turn back on my noise, and I'm gonna close my windows. That concludes the railroad crossing. Ready? Okay, we got an emergency on board. I'm about to pull over when it's safe to do so. Let me call John. John, excuse me, we got an emergency on board. I'm gonna take care of it, and I get back with you as soon as I get everything done. Talk to you in a little bit. Okay. Emergency on board. I'm gonna turn on my blinkers. I'm gonna track my tires. I'm gonna pull far over to the right as possible. When I get to my stop, I'm gonna put my hazard lights on, put my bus in neutral, and apply my parking brakes. And I'm gonna get my problem situated. I need everybody back there to sit down. You get back in your seat. Get back in your seat. Do not get up out the seat again. The next time you get up out the seat, I'm going to tell the principal when I get to the school. Do we understand? Okay. Get my seat. Apply my seatbelt. John, I got everything taken care of. I'm going to proceed when it's safe to do so. My bus back in drive, release my parking brake, turn my blinker to the left. I'm checking for traffic. Traffic is clear. Nothing is coming, and I'm going to proceed when it's safe to do so. And you can hit the button again. About to do a student drop-off. You have 2 fire hydrants over here. One is your 200 feet. I'm going to turn on my amber lights at 200 feet. I'm going to proceed to my stop. When I get to my stop, I'm going to apply my service brakes. I'm going to put my bus in neutral and apply my parking brakes. I'm stopping now. Service brakes applied, bus in neutral, parking brakes is applied. I got 3 students going to come out. I want you to come to the front. Stand in line, stand there. I'm checking for traffic, always checking for traffic. Go open my doors to stop traffic. When you go to the bottom of the step, do not go out that door without looking to the left or right, and meet me at the stops at the crossing arm. Okay, exit the bus, stop them right there. I'm checking for traffic. 2-finger sweep them to the corner of your bus. Stop. I'm checking for traffic. All traffic is clear. 2-finger sweep them across 12 feet away from the bus. Wave at goodbye. I'm going to close my doors. I'm checking for traffic. Put my bus back in drive. Release my parking brake. and proceed safely when it's safe to do so. Stop. Good. Stop. Now what I'm going to do now is a part of my maneuvers. The first maneuver I'm going to do is called a forward stop. I'm going to pull forward. There's a bracket down there. And I'm going to stop my bumper inside of that bracket without stopping on the way to the bracket. So the first stop I'm going to do is right inside the bracket. I can't stop until I'm inside that bracket. So I'm just going to pull forward. It's called a forward stop. And I'm going to stop right inside the bracket. I cannot stop on the way to the bracket. I have to close and stop right inside the bracket. Right inside the bracket, using my crossover mirrors to stop right at that line inside the bracket. Right there. This is called a forward stop. The next one is called a reverse backing. So I'm going to pull forward all the way. And I'm going to back the same way I came in and back up at the same spot I started from. I'm going to back, making sure I hit no cones. It's called a reverse backing. And I'm backing all the way up just the same way I came in. You can see the cones in front. No cones is being hit in the back or the rear. All my cones are standing tall. You just back out the same way you came in. Looking for my last cone. And there's my last cone. And I'm fit to put my crossover mirror right at the solid line. Okay. That's called a reverse backing. Now the next maneuver is called an offset forward. I'm going to pull down out of those cones on my left hand side and keep the right side of my bus on the side of that cone without hitting any cones. Pull down. Okay, I'm going to take us out without hitting any cones. I'm going to go on the side of this cone right here without hitting the cone. I did it. I cleared the cone. Didn't hit any cone. And the next move is called an offset reverse. I got to go in the same way I came out. But this part, I have to put my black bumper inside that back bracket at the very end. Okay, there we go. Taking it back in. Not hitting any cones. Taking it in. Not hitting any cones. I'm in. Inside the box again. And I'm going to put that black bumper right inside that bracket. I think it's right there, I think. So we put our bus in neutral, we apply our parking brakes, we open the doors, and we come out and check. We check, and we did it. We put the bumper right inside the box. Perfect. We get back in the bus. Get back in the bus. Perfect. Once you get back in from checking that bumper, you get back in, put your seatbelt on immediately. And once you know you cleared it, you blow the horn. That part of the maneuvers is done. For the visualization method, here's what I want you to do. Hold on, let me put this back some. Here's what I want you to do during the visualization method. I'm gonna spin the camera around. So I want you to take a mental picture of the school bus. Take a mental picture of the school bus, right? So everything you need to talk about, I want you to take a mental picture of it. If it's the door, take a mental picture of it. If it's the stairwell light, take a mental picture of it. If it's the steps, take a mental picture of it. The handrails, take a mental picture of it. The fire extinguisher and emergency roadside kit, this bus doesn't have it up front, it's in the back. But take a mental picture of everything you need to talk about. You coming up the steps, you turning around behind you, your first aid and body fluid kit. Take a mental picture of everything you need to talk about. The student monitoring service, the cameras throughout the bus. Take a mental picture of everything you need to talk about. When you sit in the seat belt, take a mental picture of everything you need to talk about. Take a mental picture of it. The outside mirrors, the inside student mirrors. Take a mental picture of everything you need to talk about. So that's the first part of the test, is the entry. And then the second part is the safe start. So I want you to take a mental picture of everything you need to talk about. So when you start your bus, you're gonna start it up. The picture you're gonna be looking for in your mind is the ABS light, came on and off. Let me demonstrate it right quick. I want you to take a mental picture of everything you need to talk about. Just a mental picture, man. This is gonna help you so much quicker. So when you start your bus up, the ABS light came on and off, is working properly. The DEF fuel is on, working properly. The headlights is on and working properly. The left turn signal is on, working properly. The right turn signal is on, working properly. The hazard lights is on, working properly. So all your light indicators is working properly. Then you come around to the driver's heater and you push your buttons. The heaters is on and working properly, and we have good airflow. Everything is working properly. So this is what I need you to take a mental picture of everything you need to talk about. Take a mental picture of it. After this, the windshield, take a mental picture of it. The windshield wiper blades, take a mental picture of it. Then after you do your verbiage with all of that, then you do your air brakes. Take a mental picture of everything you need to talk about. Then you're going to learn your verbiage that go along with the picture that you need to talk about, right? So this is called the visualization method. It's taking a mental picture of everything you need to talk about. Learn your verbiage that go along with the picture, right? Everything you need to talk about. And then you will learn how to visualize, everything you need to talk about is going to be visualized and ingrained in your mind, so you will know exactly how to say it, what to talk about, the next steps. So after this step, after the safe start, then comes the air brake test. So you're going to take a mental picture of you doing the air brakes. Learn the verbiage, right? So the air brake verbiage is this here. At 120 to 150 PSI, at governor cutout, which is fully charged, I'm going to turn off my bus. I'm going to turn it back on to the on position, but not start it. I'm going to mash in my service brakes. I'm going to release my parking brake. Ask my tester to time me for 1 minute. 1 minute is up. I did not lose more than 3 PSI in that 1 minute. I'm going to begin fanning my brakes to 60 PSI. My warning light and buzzer comes on. Warning light and buzzer came on. I'm going to keep fanning to 40 PSI and my emergency brake is going to pop out. Did you see that? It pops out. My air brakes is working properly. I'm going to start my bus and I'm going to blow the horn. Did you see how that happens? I visualize it. I've learned it. I learned the verbiage that go along with the air brakes, and all I do is visualize me doing it, and and just following the steps of the visualization. So after that, the next part of this, after the air brakes, the next part is the seat check. So I'm gonna spin around. So I'm gonna get out my seat, and you visualize in your mind what you need to do. You need to do the seat check where you hit the top part of the seat, the bottom part, you just go all the way down, hitting all the seats, right? You hitting them with your hand, you hitting them, boom, hitting the bottom part, boom, top part, boom, you hitting everything with your hand. And then you coming back and you repeating what you learned, the verbiage. All of my seats are properly mounted. The nuts and bolts are present. The metal around all my seats is not bent, dent, or twisted. It's secured to the bus, right? And then after that phase is the emergency exit. You're gonna visualize yourself doing the emergency exit. We have 7 emergency exits on this door. We have on this bus, we have 1 door, 4 windows, which is 2 in the front, 2 in the rear, and 2 in the front, and 2 emergency hatches, 1 here and 1 toward the front. Right up in there. So we have 7 emergency exits on the school bus. So you visualizing this, everything you need to talk about, you visualizing it, you keeping it in your mind. And then you check your emergency strobe lights, you check your emergency hatches, and you learn the verbiage, right? So you pick up on that, you're gonna look out and see the strobe light. I can't do it and hold this camera at the same time, but you look out and visualize the strobe light, and then you repeat the verbiage. My strobe light is working properly. It's the proper color. It's not cracked, broke, or missing. It's secured to the bus. The metal around my strobe light is not bent, dent, twisted, and it is secured to the bus. Did you see how I did that? I don't even have to look at it to explain it because I got it in my mind, right? And now I just heard the governor cutout for the next move, for the next part of the test. So the next part of the test is the service brakes. So you already know what the steps are because you learn, you know, what step come after each step. So the next step after the emergency exits is going to be the service brakes. So the service brakes is the only one you don't demonstrate it. So you're just going to say, I'm going to perform my service brakes. I'm not going to demonstrate it. I'm just going to explain it. At governor cutout, I'm going to make sure I'm going to mash my service brakes. I'm going to make sure my bus is in drive. I'm going to release my parking brake. I'm going to pull forward no more than 5 miles per hour. When I stop, my bus should not sway to the left or the right. It should just stop. You see how I remember that? Because I remember the verbiage that go along with each move I have to do. So after that step is the parking brake. You will demonstrate that one. So what's the verbiage that go along with the parking brake? At governor cutout, I'm going to mash my service brake. I'm going to make sure my parking brake is applied. I'm going to put my bus in drive. I'm going to mash the gas 3 times and my bus should not move. Watch this. 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. My bus did not move. My parking brake is working accurately. So you understand how I'm doing that? I verbalize everything I need to do. I just take a mental picture of everything I do. So that's a part of the visualization method, right? Is visualizing, I don't know why I'm saying verbalizing, visualizing everything I need to talk about in a visual format. So that's the visualization method. And that's how you will remember everything you need to remember. You will visualize everything you need to remember. So that's it, man. That's the visualization method, is keep a mental picture of everything. So what I'm trying to say is, when it comes to visualization, you just have to picture everything that that you're going to be talking about. Picture it in your mind, have it stuck in your mind, and just start doing the verbiage according to what you are studying, in other words. So you have to visualize the bus in your mind, man. Visualize every component, everything that you need to explain. You need to put that into your mind, visualize it into your mind. So when you go into practice doing the visualization, you will have all the verbiage, man, because now you know the verbiage, right? You studied the verbiage, and then you watch the video. You got the video in your mind, and then when you're at home, what I need you to do is to get in a quiet space, a quiet room, a living room, or wherever you got a quiet space, right? And then put a chair in the middle of that space. That chair is your seat on the school bus. That's the driver's seat. So I want you to visualize everything about the bus, naming all the, different components that you need to name. Naming the door, naming everything about the door, naming the stairwell, everything about the stairwell, naming the stairwell light, everything about that. Coming up, the fire extinguisher, emergency roadside kit, first aid and body fluid kit, the cameras, the air brakes, the safe start, everything about it, man. You visualizing it in your mind, and you naming everything about it because you already know the verbiage. Study the verbiage, study everything in the manual, man, I put together. If you do that, I promise you, you will get 100 on your CDL test, pre-trip test. You will get 100. I promise you. If you just follow the steps, follow everything I'm saying, step by step, and I promise you, you will make 100 on your pre-trip test.